Show your kids your new happy life. Vitally important. You're broken up, you're devastated. You cannot show that to your children. Can't do that either. Why? Because their job is to get the approval of the narc for rejecting you. So you cannot give them that. You give them just the opposite. And if you have to fake it and take an acting class, then that's what you do. Be happy, joyful, peaceful in your new life without the narc, and let the kids see it. Whether you're living with them, certainly if you're separate or divorced, they need to see mom enjoying her life. That's the last thing the narc wants, and it's the last thing the kids want, because that's not what their job is. You had to be made to be miserable for all the mistakes you've made, and they're dumbheads. And you show that you talk about little tidbits here, my job, my friends, my social life, my community involvement, my exercise program, my family, those that are on your side, parents, siblings, your church, your Bible study, your women's group, your relationship with Jesus. Absolutely. You are showing them my life is moving forward. If you chase and you pursue and you beg and you act all upset, you're never going to get those kids back, ever. That feeds the monster. Now, this won't work overnight, but it's one of the ways to begin to draw them back, because they're going to find out sooner or later that the narc is never happy. He's upset. He goes hot and cold. He'll turn on them, and we want them to see that. And we look over at mom, and mom seems to be doing pretty well. Dad said she was crazy. She doesn't seem crazy. Dad said she was unstable. I'm not picking that out. Dad said she's always unhappy and miserable and depressed. No, I'm not seeing that in my contact with mom and on her social media. And your kids will find your social media. They're masters. They'll start to see the dissonance. Doesn't make any sense. Dad is not telling me the truth. Okay. And what I like to do, especially if you're separated, every couple of weeks or so, you send your child, the child that's rejected you, cut you off. You send your child, if you have a way to reach them, this is a one-way thing, you don't expect any response. Email, text, social media, whatever works, a brief spiritual message, and you just send it and you don't ask for a response. This is if you can find some way to contact them. And it's very brief. As brief as, I prayed for you today, Bobby. I prayed for you, Susie. Done. I read this verse in my devotional this morning, and you give the reference. That's it. Jesus gave me this insight today, and I was walking, and something happened, and it was a Jesus moment. You just drop it in. You're not going to get a response, or you might get, stop sending me stuff, but it has an impact. In every interaction you have with your children, whatever you're allowed to have with them, whatever they will allow, whether it's text or email, FaceTime, actually in person, you let them see that you're happy, that you're doing well. You're moving on with your new life. Now, there'll be times when, of course, in the quietness of your home or at your job, it will get to you. You'll cry. It's awful. It's devastating. You share that with someone who cares, who you can trust. Don't do that with your children. That will do just the opposite of what you expect. The child won't say, oh, mom feels bad, and she's crying over my rejection of her. I think I'll stop doing that. No, far from it. See, they're already gone. They're already in his clutches. He's brainwashed them. They'll be happy that you're upset. That's the twisted world we're living in now. We're trying to change that and bring them back to normal. Don't show them any of that. You get some social media going. This is how kids operate in this world. And the narc's going to let them do all the social media in the world. You get your social media accounts. Kids are curious. You're still their mom or you're their dad. You get some key social media sites going on, and you post what looks like a life that's happy and that's moving in the right direction. Again, here's the point. Since the point of your kids' rejection of you and abuse of you, frankly, is to make you miserable, when you're not miserable but happy, their campaign falls flat. It's not working. And that's what we want. So what you're showing by showing them a happy life and a life that's working and that you're walking with the Lord is that you are stable. You're not crazy like the narc says. You're happy. You're not resentful. You're not bitter like the narc is saying. You're going to counter all the lies. You're not competing with the narc to win them over. You're not going to compete at all. If they want to be with you, if they want to spend time with you, fine. If they don't, that's fine too. Their choice. See, the narc's going to be controlling in time of them. You're not going to do that, and that'll make you look good. And you're going to be in a close relationship with God, and you're going to be at peace in your life. as compared to the narc. And you know this if you have kids. Kids don't miss anything. They are not dense. They pick up even from a very young age. And so they'll see your life and they'll see the narc's life. They will not miss this. It'll take a while for it to register. But the narc's going to show them that he is unstable. He's crazy. He's the one that's never truly happy. He's resentful of you and others. He is competing with you to win them over. He's never at peace. A narc is never truly at peace because nothing ever works. The first time your Bobby or Susie brings home a homework assignment and they're living with him and they've cut you off and it's a D or it's a C or it's a B and he bites their head off when before he wasn't even involved in their homework and he never helps them with it, the light will begin to dawn. Oh, my dad's a jerk. He's hard on me. I can't please him. Exactly. Now they'll try for a while to please him. It won't work. And then we can see the train start to turn around. And of course, he's never at peace and he's in a close relationship with himself, not God. God's got nothing to do with it. And kids can pick up a hypocrite a mile away, especially when you've removed yourself from the process and you're not fighting it. They'll be able to pick it up. And their father is the chief of hypocrites. They'll see him at church. They'll see him in the neighborhood and they'll see what he's like at home. All right. And eventually they'll begin to figure it out. You're going to have to let your kids go. As hard as that is, and you don't let the narc drag you into drama with the kids over and over again. The way I mentioned before, him baiting you. With you out of the way, they can start to see the truth. And so the message you send to your kids without saying these words is, do you want to join me in my happy, peaceful new life? That over and over. Would you like to join me? Would you like to join me? And initially you'll say, look, I will never prevent you from having a relationship with your father. I've told you that he's abusive and I left him for that reason and I divorced him. No apology for that. But he's your father. What I'm asking for is a separate relationship with you where you respect me, where we love each other, where we spend time, where there are boundaries, where I teach you about Jesus. We're gonna have this kind of a separate relationship. When you're with your father, if you choose to be, hey, it's his rules. You do whatever you want. So we're looking for this parallel operation at first, but in time, I think they'll be drawn more to your lifestyle and who you are and away from him. And that's exactly what we want.